Felix is a quiet man of 63, a retired teacher who spent most of his life surrounded by books and curious young minds. For years, his eyesight had been his greatest asset, guiding him through pages of history, literature, and the occasional crossword puzzle. But recently, something started to change. It was subtle at first, almost unnoticeable. The evening light began to feel harsh, the words on his beloved newspaper seemed to blur just a little more each day, and bright street lamps made him squint as if they were shining directly into his eyes. These small irritations crept into his daily life, slowly dimming the sharp clarity that had once come so naturally. One afternoon, during a routine visit to his eye doctor, Felix received a warning that hit him harder than he expected. His doctor's gentle voice carried a serious note. "Felix, you're showing early signs of macular degeneration. It's a common condition for people your age, but if left unchecked, it could steal your central vision." The words echoed in his mind long after he left the clinic. It wasn't just about reading anymore, it was about preserving the connection to the world around him, the faces of his grandchildren, the colors of the garden, the simple joy of watching the sunset. For the first time, Felix realized that his eyes were not just failing him from old age, but from years of neglecting the little things that could protect them. That evening, Felix sat quietly in his kitchen, the dim light casting shadows across his thoughtful face. He pondered what he could do beyond eye drops or expensive treatments. The answer, surprisingly, lay in something as simple as the food he ate every day. Felix had always enjoyed nuts and seeds as snacks, but never imagined that these tiny natural gifts held the power to nurture and restore his tired eyes. This realization sparked a shift in his mindset, a willingness to embrace change, not just to fight vision loss, but to reclaim the clarity and comfort that aging had threatened to take away. His journey began with curiosity and a humble determination. Felix started learning about how certain seeds and nuts contain vital nutrients, omega-3 fatty acids, vitamin E, zinc, and antioxidants, essential to the health of his retina and optic nerves. These nutrients, he discovered, could help ease the dryness that made his eyes sting, reduce the inflammation quietly damaging his vision, and even improve blood circulation to his eyes. It was a gentle awakening to the idea that care for his eyes was not a single event, but a daily practice woven into the rhythm of his meals. Slowly, Felix integrated these small but powerful foods into his diet. Walnuts soaked overnight became part of his breakfast alongside warm oatmeal. Chia seeds soaked in fresh orange juice offered a refreshing boost each morning. Almonds softened by water before eating gave him a comforting, vitamin-rich start to the day. As days turned into weeks, Felix began to notice subtle but meaningful changes. The burning sensation in his eyes eased, the glare from lights became less harsh, and his ability to focus on small print improved. More than that, he felt a renewed sense of hope and control over his health. A reminder that age, while inevitable, didn't have to mean surrender. Felix's story is one many seniors share, but few talk about openly. The quiet, persistent battle against the gradual loss of eyesight that threatens independence and joy. It is a journey marked by moments of frustration, vulnerability, and learning. But it is also a journey of rediscovery, where small choices about what to eat and how to live can bring back the light that seemed to be fading. Through his experience, Felix found that nurturing the eyes from within was not only possible, but deeply rewarding. His transformation is a testament to the power of simple, natural habits in reclaiming quality of life after 60. So if you find yourself squinting more often, battling dryness, or feeling uneasy about your vision, remember Felix's story. There's more you can do than you might think. The seeds and nuts waiting quietly on your kitchen shelf could be the first step toward protecting your precious eyesight and restoring your connection to the world in all its vivid detail. Let's walk this path together, exploring the 8 remarkable seeds that helped Felix, and can help you too, see the world clearly once again. Felix's mornings used to be his favorite time of day, filled with quiet rituals and the comforting rustle of newspaper pages. But lately, even those simple pleasures felt clouded. He would lean closer, squinting at the small print, frustration creeping in as the words blurred together. One morning, as he struggled to read an article about his hometown's history, he realized the struggle was no longer just occasional. It was becoming the new normal. His wife, Anna, noticed his growing irritation. Maybe it's time you see the doctor again, she gently suggested, watching the worry settle deeper into his eyes. The visit to the eye clinic was both a relief and a shock. The doctor's explanation was clear but carried an unspoken urgency. Felix, your eyes show early signs of age-related macular degeneration. It's common, yes, but it's also something we can manage if you start taking care now. Those words echoed in Felix's mind long after he left the clinic. He wasn't ready to accept that his vision might dim steadily without resistance. The idea of losing sight, not just the words on paper but the faces and colors of his life, stirred a deep sense of vulnerability he hadn't expected. That night, as he sat by the window, watching the fading light of the sunset, Felix thought about what his doctor had said. Eye drops and glasses felt like temporary fixes, bandages over a deeper issue. He recalled a conversation with an old friend who had mentioned the power of certain foods, seeds and nuts rich in nutrients that could nourish the eyes from within. It sounded almost too simple to be true, but Felix was desperate for hope. This sparked a quiet determination inside him. If there was a way to slow the loss, to protect what remained, he had to try. Felix began to read, cautiously optimistic, discovering how omega-3 fatty acids, vitamin E, zinc, and antioxidants play a vital role in eye health. These nutrients were abundant in everyday seeds and nuts, foods he could easily add to his diet without drastic changes. It was a revelation. Caring for his eyes didn't have to be medical or complicated. It could be as natural as the meals he prepared each day. This knowledge planted a seed of empowerment, reminding him that even small changes could ripple into meaningful results. The next morning, Felix picked up a handful of walnuts from the kitchen shelf. He remembered the advice to soak them overnight to unlock their full benefits and make them gentler on the stomach. As he savored the slightly softened nuts alongside his oatmeal, he felt a flicker of hope that perhaps this simple habit was the first step toward reclaiming his fading sight. His journey to protect his eyes was just beginning, but for the first time in a long while, Felix felt ready to face it with quiet courage. Weeks passed since Felix began his small morning ritual of soaked walnuts, and though the sharpness of his vision hadn't returned overnight, something had changed. The dryness and burning sensation that had haunted his eyes, especially in the evenings after reading or watching television, seemed to ease. It was subtle, almost like the quiet calm after a storm, but to Felix, it was a relief he hadn't realized he was craving. One afternoon, while sharing tea with his daughter Lily, Felix mentioned how his eyes no longer felt as tired or irritated. Lily smiled warmly, recalling a book she had read about natural remedies for seniors. "Dad, have you heard about chia seeds? They're supposed to be amazing for eye moisture and overall hydration." Felix listened attentively as she explained how these tiny seeds, once a staple for ancient civilizations, carried omega-3 fatty acids and soluble fiber that helped retain water and soothe dry eyes. Inspired, Felix added chia seeds to his morning routine, soaking a teaspoon in fresh orange juice before breakfast. The gel-like texture was surprisingly pleasant, the slight tartness waking his senses gently. This new habit became a comforting part of his day, and more importantly, he began to notice that the burning and stinging he once accepted as normal were fading. The sensation of grit in his eyes diminished, replaced by a softness that made focusing less taxing. Felix's doctor had once told him that dry eyes were a common complaint among seniors, but few understood how deeply it could affect quality of life. The persistent discomfort led many to avoid activities they loved, fearing pain or frustration. For Felix, this meant hesitating before picking up a book or avoiding bright environments. But now, with the simple addition of chia seeds, his eyes felt nourished from within, a soothing balm no eye drop could replicate. Anna noticed the change too. "You seem more relaxed," she observed one evening as they watched the sunset together. "Your eyes don't look as strained." Felix smiled, feeling grateful not just for the seeds, but for this shared journey. It was no longer just about saving his eyesight. It was about reclaiming moments of comfort and peace in everyday life. This phase of his journey taught Felix a valuable truth, that healing doesn't always roar in sudden leaps, but often whispers through small acts of care. The moisture that chia seeds helped restore was more than physical relief. It was a gentle reminder that his body, even with its age, could respond and recover with patience and kindness. As Felix prepared for another day, he held on to this newfound comfort, ready to explore the next step in nurturing his vision. The road ahead was still long, but the promise of clearer, less weary eyes was enough to keep his spirit steady. Felix's mornings were gradually filling with new rhythms, soaked walnuts, chia seeds, and orange juice, and he felt a growing connection to these simple rituals. Yet he knew his eyes needed more than just moisture and healthy fats. The shadows of aging crept slowly but relentlessly, and he wanted to build a stronger defense against the invisible wear of time. One afternoon, as Felix helped Anna prepare their evening meal, she handed him a small bowl of almonds. "Try these," she said softly. "I read that almonds are rich in vitamin E, which protects your eyes from damage." Felix nodded, intrigued by this gentle wisdom. That evening, he soaked a handful of almonds in water, peeling off their skins as the doctor had suggested. The nuts felt soft and comforting, a quiet shield packed with nutrients. In the weeks that followed, Felix noticed subtle changes, not dramatic, but steady. The dry patches in his eyes became less frequent, and a certain glow returned to his gaze. More surprisingly, his sleep improved. On mornings when his eyes felt less irritated, his body seemed more at ease overall. It was as if the protection almonds offered extended beyond just his vision, reaching deep into his well-being. His doctor once told him that vitamin E works like a guard against oxidative stress, one of the main culprits in retinal aging and diseases like macular degeneration. Felix imagined this invisible army of antioxidants quietly battling the damage caused by years of sunlight, screen time, and environmental toxins. It comforted him to think that something as simple as almonds could empower this natural defense. Anna, always observant, smiled one morning when Felix woke refreshed and ready to read the paper without the usual struggle. "Your eyes look brighter," she remarked, her voice filled with warmth. Felix felt gratitude not just for the almonds, but for the unfolding journey, a testament to the power of gentle, consistent care. This chapter taught Felix that protecting his eyes was not a one-time act, but a patient, daily practice. The almonds were a reminder that nourishment from within builds resilience over time. It wasn't about chasing miracles, but trusting the steady work of nature and his body's quiet response. As twilight approached and Felix prepared for bed, he felt a quiet hope blooming. The road to clearer vision was winding and gradual, but each seed and nut was a step toward preserving the precious gift of sight, a gift worth cherishing and protecting with care. Felix's days had slowly transformed into a mindful practice of caring for his eyes. Yet he realized there was still one nagging challenge that his routine hadn't fully addressed: the sharp glare of sunlight and the harsh blue light from screens that left his eyes feeling strained and fatigued. After decades of teaching in brightly lit classrooms and evenings spent reading under warm lamps, the cumulative effect of light exposure had begun to take its toll. One afternoon, while browsing through an article his daughter Lily had shared, Felix discovered the surprising benefits of sunflower seeds. These small, humble seeds were packed with vitamin E, a powerful nutrient that helped protect the delicate membranes in his eyes from damage caused by light and oxidative stress. Felix felt a spark of hope. This could be the missing piece in his quest to defend his vision. Inspired, Felix started sprinkling roasted, unsalted sunflower seeds over his salads at lunch and mixing them into his evening yogurt. The crunchy texture added a pleasant surprise to his meals, and more importantly, he noticed his eyes feeling less tired after long hours of screen time. The subtle, nutty flavor became a comforting reminder of his commitment to eye health. Anna observed how Felix no longer flinched when stepping outside into bright sunlight, and he no longer complained of eye fatigue after his daily reading. "These seeds seem to be doing wonders," she remarked, sharing in his quiet victories. Felix smiled, feeling grateful for the gentle protection these tiny seeds offered. His doctor had once explained that vitamin E was like a natural sunscreen for the eyes, reducing the risk of retinal damage and slowing the progression of conditions like macular degeneration. Felix imagined this invisible shield guarding his vision from the relentless assault of environmental factors, sunlight, screens, and even indoor lighting. This phase of his journey taught Felix the importance of shielding his eyes from harm, not just nourishing them from within. It was a balance of care, like tending a garden, both watering the roots and protecting the leaves. The sunflower seeds symbolized resilience, a daily armor that helped his eyes endure and thrive amidst life's light. As the golden hour bathed his room in warm hues, Felix felt a renewed sense of peace. He was not just surviving his years after 60, he was learning to live fully with clarity and comfort. Each seed, each small habit was a step closer to reclaiming the vividness of the world he loved to see. Felix's journey toward healthier eyes continued, but he knew there was still a deeper layer to care for, the very foundation of his vision, the retina. It was the part of his eye responsible for capturing the world's images and sending them to his brain. Over time, he had learned that this delicate structure needed more than just hydration or protection from light. It required essential minerals to maintain its strength and function. One evening, while preparing a light snack, Felix came across pumpkin seeds, often overlooked but rich in zinc and vitamin A. His daughter Lily mentioned how these nutrients played a crucial role in supporting retinal health and improving night vision. Something Felix had noticed was slipping. The thought that these tiny seeds could quietly strengthen the core of his eyesight sparked his curiosity. Felix began roasting pumpkin seeds with a sprinkle of turmeric and a pinch of sea salt, turning them into a crunchy, flavorful treat that he enjoyed alongside his evening tea. The ritual of preparing and savoring these seeds became a comforting moment of care and connection, a reminder that healing could be found in simple pleasures. As weeks passed, Felix noticed subtle improvements, not just in his ability to read under dim light, but also in how his eyes adapted to changing environments. The squinting in late afternoons became less frequent, and the dim corners of his vision seemed to brighten. More than that, he felt a quiet confidence growing, knowing he was actively nourishing the foundation of his sight. His doctor had explained that zinc was vital for maintaining the structure of the retina, and that vitamin A helped the eyes adjust to low-light conditions. Felix imagined these nutrients as tiny architects, reinforcing the fragile walls of his vision against the wear of time. It was a reassuring thought, giving him strength to continue his daily habits. Anna noticed how Felix's mood brightened as his eyes improved. "You look more alive," she said one morning, her eyes reflecting the warmth of their shared hope. Felix smiled, feeling that his journey was more than just about vision. It was about reclaiming life's colors and moments that mattered most. This part of Felix's story taught him that healing the eyes was a holistic process, a layering of nourishment, protection, and care. The pumpkin seeds symbolized resilience and patience, nourishing the unseen roots that held his vision steady. With every crunchy bite, Felix was building a stronger, clearer future for his eyes. Felix had come far in his journey, nurturing his eyes with walnuts, chia seeds, almonds, sunflower seeds, and pumpkin seeds. Yet he knew that true eye health was not just about protection or nourishment, but also about flexibility, the ability of his eyes to adjust, focus, and respond to the world around him. This meant strengthening the tiny muscles and nerves that allowed him to see clearly in different light and distances. One afternoon, Felix discovered pistachios, often called the smiling nut, not just for their appearance, but for their rich content of lutein and zeaxanthin. These pigments act as natural filters against harmful blue light and bright sunlight, protecting the central part of the retina. It was exactly what Felix needed to help his eyes adapt to changing light conditions, from the glare of the morning sun to the soft glow of a lamp at night. He began enjoying a small handful of shelled pistachios each afternoon, mixing them into plain yogurt with a touch of honey. The ritual was simple but comforting, and Felix noticed how the act of peeling each nut seemed to gently exercise his fingers and, in turn, relax his eyes. This small moment of mindfulness became a soothing break in his day, a pause that refreshed his vision and spirit alike. In parallel, Felix incorporated ground flax seeds into his breakfast oatmeal. Rich in plant-based omega-3 fatty acids, flax seeds helped improve blood circulation, reducing dryness and eye fatigue. The doctor had once explained that good blood flow was essential to deliver oxygen and nutrients deep into the eye tissues. Without it, all the other care would fall short. As the weeks turned to months, Felix's eyes felt more alive and flexible. He no longer hesitated when moving from bright outdoors to dim rooms, and his focus sharpened when reading fine print or watching his favorite shows. More importantly, he felt a renewed connection to the vibrant world around him, a reminder that age was not a sentence but a stage of life, rich with possibility. Anna watched Felix's transformation with quiet joy. "You're glowing," she said one evening, "not just your eyes, but your whole being." Felix knew this journey was far from over, but these seeds had rekindled a light within him, a light of hope, resilience, and gentle care. This chapter of Felix's story was a testament to balance, combining nourishment, protection, and circulation to keep his eyes healthy and responsive. Pistachios and flax seeds were not just foods, they were symbols of movement and flow, helping Felix embrace his golden years with clarity and grace. Felix's journey with seeds and nuts had brought him a long way, weaving new habits into his daily life. But there was one modest food he hadn't yet embraced fully: the humble peanut. Often overlooked, peanuts carried their own quiet power, a source of healthy fats and vitamin B3 that could improve blood flow and support the delicate membranes of his eyes. One morning, as Felix prepared breakfast, he spread a thin layer of natural peanut butter on whole grain bread, pairing it with slices of ripe banana. The simple meal was comforting, familiar, and yet filled with nutrients that quietly worked beneath the surface. Felix enjoyed the creamy texture, knowing that these small choices added up to steady, ongoing care. His doctor had once explained that vitamin B3 plays a vital role in maintaining optic nerve function, which tends to decline with age. This meant peanuts helped not just to moisturize and nourish the eyes, but also to support the nerve connections crucial for sharp, responsive vision. Felix imagined this as an invisible network being reinforced, helping his eyes communicate clearly with his brain. In the weeks that followed, Felix felt a newfound steadiness. His eyes no longer blinked as often in frustration, and the occasional flickers of dryness became less frequent. More than that, he noticed a subtle improvement in his reflexes and alertness, small victories that gave him confidence to keep going. Anna watched these changes with gentle pride. "You're caring for yourself in ways I admire," she said one evening as they shared their quiet meal. Felix smiled, feeling the warmth of their partnership and the strength of his own resilience growing each day. This part of Felix's story reminded him that healing often comes from the simplest sources: steady, humble support rather than grand gestures. Peanuts were a daily anchor, a quiet friend on his path to preserving sight, proving that even the smallest acts can nourish a lifetime. As Felix reached this stage in his journey, he reflected on the changes unfolding not just in his eyes, but in his entire outlook on life. What began as a flicker of concern had grown into a steady commitment to nurturing his vision with natural foods, patience, and care. Each seed and nut, walnuts, chia, almonds, sunflower, pumpkin, pistachios, flax seeds, and peanuts, had played a unique role in restoring his eyes' vitality. Felix understood now that maintaining eye health was not a quick fix, but a lifelong practice. It was a gentle dance between nourishing the delicate tissues, protecting them from harm, and supporting the flow of blood and nutrients. This journey had taught him resilience, the value of small daily habits, and the profound connection between body and spirit. His family noticed the difference too. His grandchildren loved hearing stories about the magic seeds Grandpa used to keep his eyes sharp, and Anna took joy in cooking meals that honored this new chapter of health. Felix felt surrounded by love and encouragement, strengthened by their presence and his own quiet determination. Most importantly, Felix had reclaimed a vital part of his independence, the ability to see clearly and engage with the world he cherished. The colors of the garden seemed brighter, the faces of loved ones clearer, and the pages of his favorite books easier to read. This was not just a physical transformation, but a restoration of hope and joy. As the sun set on another peaceful evening, Felix smiled to himself. His journey was ongoing, but with every bite, every habit, he was building a future where age was no barrier to seeing the beauty and wonder of life. And for anyone walking a similar path, Felix's story was a reminder that care, patience, and nature's simple gifts can make all the difference. Felix had learned that caring for his eyes went beyond what he ate or the seeds and nuts he incorporated. It was about understanding the deep connection between his heart, blood vessels, and vision. One day during a checkup, his doctor gently reminded him, "Healthy blood flow is the foundation of eye health. If your circulation falters, the retina doesn't get the oxygen and nutrients it desperately needs." This insight deepened Felix's commitment to a holistic approach. He began paying more attention to his cardiovascular health, adding gentle walks to his daily routine and being mindful of stress. The knowledge that his heart and eyes were intimately linked made every choice feel purposeful and empowering. He also realized that many of the nutrients from his seeds, omega-3s, vitamin E, zinc, were supporting not just his eyes but his heart as well. It was as if his body was receiving a symphony of care, each part reinforcing the other. Felix felt gratitude for this growing wisdom, embracing a lifestyle that nurtured his entire body. The vibrant colors he saw through his eyes were reflections of a healthier heart beating steadily, a gentle reminder that true wellness flows from the inside out. Felix never imagined that his quiet journey of eye care would become a source of inspiration for those around him. As he shared his newfound habits with friends and family, he noticed how many struggled silently with the same frustrations: dry eyes, blurred vision, the fear of losing sight. His story became a gentle beacon of hope, a reminder that small, natural steps could make a profound difference. One afternoon, while sitting with his granddaughter Emma, Felix explained how incorporating simple seeds and nuts into his diet had helped restore comfort and clarity to his eyes. Her eyes sparkled with curiosity, and she promised to share this wisdom with her friends and grandparents. Felix smiled, knowing that this ripple of care was spreading. Felix's hope was that no one would have to accept vision loss as an inevitable part of aging without exploring these natural supports. He believed that by nurturing their eyes with love and patience, others could also regain their confidence and joy in seeing the world clearly. As the sun set on his story, Felix felt a deep sense of fulfillment. His journey was not just about saving his sight, it was about sharing the light with others, passing on a legacy of care, resilience, and gentle healing. And with every seed he ate, he carried that hope forward into the future. Felix's journey has been one of quiet transformation, moving from frustration and fear about his fading vision to hope and empowerment through simple, natural care. What began as a struggle with dryness, blurriness, and the looming threat of vision loss gradually turned into a daily practice of nurturing and protecting his eyes. By embracing the power of everyday seeds and nuts, walnuts, chia, almonds, sunflower seeds, pumpkin seeds, pistachios, flax seeds, and peanuts, Felix found not only relief from discomfort, but also a renewed clarity and comfort that enriched his golden years. Through this journey, Felix learned that eye health is not a fleeting fix, but a lifelong commitment. It's about listening to your body's subtle signals, responding with gentle care, and choosing nourishing habits that build resilience over time. His story reminds us that even small changes, like soaking walnuts overnight or adding a spoonful of flaxseed to breakfast, can ripple into meaningful improvements, making each day a little brighter and every moment a little clearer. Now, as you reflect on Felix's experience, consider your own eyes and the care they deserve. Aging doesn't have to mean surrendering to vision loss. There are natural, accessible steps you can take to support your eyesight from within. Simple habits that honor your body and protect the precious gift of sight. Whether it's adding nutrient-rich seeds to your meals, staying mindful of eye hydration, or shielding your eyes from harsh light, every choice counts. Remember, the journey to healthier eyes is personal and ongoing. It requires patience, consistency, and a willingness to embrace change. But as Felix's story shows, it's a path filled with hope, comfort, and the possibility of seeing the world in vivid detail for years to come. So take that first step today. Nourish your eyes with kindness and intention. Your vision is worth it, and so is the life you want to live, rich with color, light, and clarity.